Well, I'm not a rain doctor. I fell some water. Not unless Miss Knockout spitting on me.
This is a good stand you got here.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, perfect. Absolutely.
That's great.
Makeshift. You know, I can switch up quickly.
Yeah, right.
Let me tweet this out here.
To mix it up, throw the hoo-ha around. It was intense and her. It was intense and her. So he's saying that all the text messages.
All right, guys. Good afternoon. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear the sound of my voice. I is back again, and ladies and gentlemen, it went down in the courtroom. It's still going down in the courtroom, and the correction. The closing by Mr. Agnifilo is nothing but masterful, and we're going to get into some things. I want to give you guys an opportunity to get in here. I'm going to go over some of the notes, then I'm going back in the courtroom because the jurors will likely get the case today. The jurors will likely get the case today, so stand by, ladies and gentlemen. I just got some very disturbing news just now as I went live. My dear friend, Attorney Akeisha El Shabazz, has lost her mother, and I want to give my condolences to Attorney Shabazz. I was in court all day, and I went to bed late last night, and I'm just literally going live, and I just saw it. So please bear with me. I want to send my condolences to Attorney Shabazz and her family. And yeah, it's very, very disappointing because the mother fought a very hard fight. And you know that there was issues with a medical situation for a while. So if you guys see Attorney Shabazz on Twitter or anywhere, send the condolences. And literally, I just seen this as I went to press the live button. As I tweeted this live out, I just learned that her mother had passed. And yeah, that's really, that's a dear friend of mine, and I know, it has to be hard losing your mother. It has to be very hard. But let's get to the reporting of this story. So today, the defense, led by Mr. Mark Agnifilo, had the opportunity to start his cross-examination. His cross-examination, I would say, ladies and gentlemen, was nothing but masterful. He kept it. He went into all the details of the charges, but he kept it simple. He didn't bring out fancy charts. He kept it to the facts of the case. And when I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it got so bad that the prosecution, once it was a break, prosecution made an objection to the judge, warning there to be a curative instruction given to the jurors based on some of the things that Mr. Okay. Oh, guys, hold on 1 second. Hold on.
Don't talk all that crap.
Well, that's what happened. Diddy actually was a murderous scoundrel type individual with stone ability, and he got away with so
Stand by,
much
guys.
code words and bootleg connections that this is the only thing that they had to show him, like, look, you can't do that.
I don't give a F about nothing you
You don't give a F about anything that makes sense because you got none.
Go that way.
Have a good one.
Watch the hole you about to fall in.
You said what?
Watch the hole you about to fall in.
Man, watch the whole you already get. I'm watching. Look, there's nothing on this planet that we're not out of grid. This is hell on earth, dude.
Right, who is that?
What hole am I falling into? What do you think you're working at? Or capital? Who is that? You want to press me right now? You want to press my connections?
I'll be done in a minute. Wait till I finish. Wait till I finish done. Wait till I'm finished talking. I'll talk to you, okay? I'll talk to you when I finish, okay? Hold that energy till I finish, okay? Hold that energy.
So I guess they're here to stop people from saying anything crazy. Or in some way.
All right, guys, give me a second. Give me a second.
Well, what did I say? Did Diddy pay $1 million or not to the Haitian jack? When Baby Lane killed Tupac, who did Diddy pay? Why did this RICO just come from sexual activity? Because I'm talking about the bootleg and really what's going on. Oh, if you have anything to say, make sure you come correct. Because I know enough. The highest degree.
All right, guys. So the cloud chaser, I let the cloud chasers do their cloud chasing. let's get back to the story at hand. I guess they didn't want to wait till I finish, but it's all good. Okay, so as I was saying, the prosecution wanted the judge to issue a curative instruction, meaning inform the jurors that some of the things that Mr. Agnifilo said was not exactly accurate as it relates to him telling the jurors that an assault, and they were talking about the assault on Cassie, was likely a misdemeanor, and not, and it was something that the judge would ultimately tell the jurors during his summation. So while the judge did not give the curative instructions that the prosecution wanted, he did issue a general curative instruction, just informing the jurors that the lawyers, what the lawyers are saying, the lawyers do not tell you the law. He will tell you the law. And basically, I believe it was done to throw the defense off and giving their closing arguments, because Mr. Agnifilo hit some of the highest points. And I'm going to give you a few quotes coming out of his closing arguments. He talks about one employee that testified, and I believe that was the accountant who said something to the effect that he taught me how to work. He taught me work ethics. He taught him about how to be in business. The young man started with him and worked for him for 19 years. They loved him. Hey, this goes to Derek Ferguson. Derek Ferguson. No one wanted to hire me. He stayed with Combs for 19 years. Agnifilo mentioned that diversity, equity, and inclusion was something that Mr. Combs did in '91. It wasn't just some words being said. He did this early on in his career. And I think that really connected with the black jurors, I believe. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. I saw what he was doing with that. And I saw some of the black jurors really look at him and, like, okay, I like that. This guy was someone who had the foresight to do things that are now being fought against. So that was a good point he made. Then he tells the jurors to look over to the gallery. There's 6 of his 7 children there, and his mother's there. And in a surprise statement, which I might not have said that, but then I'm not an attorney. He let the jurors know that Mr. Combs is locked up now, and the guys behind him were two U.S. Marshals. And usually that's something that the jurors never know. They see him coming in every day dressed out. They don't know if he's been detained or not. But he let the jurors know today that he's locked up. He's been locked up, and while it appears that everything is roses, but he doesn't get the chance to go home. So it was something I thought was interesting. I thought some of the other reporters were surprised. Someone said no sound. No sound. Do you guys see sound? Someone saying no sound. Is there sound? Put a 1 in the chat to get the sound of my voice. Put a 1 in the chat to get it. I can hear. Okay. Do me a favor. My moderators, if someone's saying no sound and you guys can hear sound, put them on a timeout, because they try and throw me off. It must be the prosecution. Prosecutors, don't do that with me. Please don't do that. Don't do it. I'm gonna see you later on. I'm from the Bronx. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. So when Mr. Agnifilo asked the jurors to look over to the family, they all looked over. They didn't know who was in there. And I thought that was powerful. I mean, you want the jurors to connect, not just connect with Mr. Combs, but connect with his family. And that was something that was accomplished with that statement. And he tells the jurors he takes care of his people. He takes care of his family. All the employees, no one came in and said he didn't take care of them. He didn't take care of them. And Mr. Kniffel was very careful to point out that while the prosecution is saying this is a racketeering enterprise, he said no. They're telling you they're pointing out things that has to do with his bedroom. But Mr. Combs runs businesses. He's a billionaire. He's a billionaire, and that was powerful. You have a billionaire. His bedroom was on trial. The contents of his bedroom was on trial. Then they said this case is about Astroglide. He says it loud. Astroglide and baby oil. Astroglide and baby oil. He said it again. Astroglide and baby oil. That's what this case is about. When they came to his home, they came with the special SWAT team. They came to his home with a special SWAT team. And they took pictures of his guns in a secure room. So it almost seemed like it was a orchestrated attempt to really smear this man. So he made those points and brought that out because you got his 6 kids in the courtroom, along with his mother and his other supporters, and he's pointing out to the jurors that the way they rolled on this man, and when I say rolled, guys, you know what I'm talking about, the way they pulled up on him, the way they raided his home. And, then he started talking about it's just about Astroglide and baby oil. Oh, here was the part where he talks about Cassie. Let's get to it. Mr. Agniffo, listen, let me tell you something. He made sure those people knew, and then Miss Cassie's attorney is in the courtroom as well. So when he said this, I looked over at Cassie Ventura's attorney, Doug Wigdor, and he was saying that Cassie was about that life, basically. She was dating Puffy, and she was dating Kid Cudi. And he basically said, oh, she's not holding her pearls or nothing like that. She's about that life. And was she scared? She had a hotel room where they did the freak-offs, and then she had another room where she kept a burner phone. He talked about the burner phone, which I thought was interesting. Cassie had a burner phone. Think about this. She's moving around, funny style, and she has a room where she stores her burner phone, another room. When she's in the hotel during the freak-offs, she kept another room where she kept the burner phone. Why would she need a burner phone in another room? So he's pointing out that Cassie was out there. She was about that life. She was moving. She wasn't nothing scared about her. Then he goes into. We're gonna get back to Cassie, but let's talk about Capricorn Clark. He said that the notion that Puffy had a gun when he visited Capricorn's house for her to take the ride so they go kill a nigga, talking about Kid Cudi, it's not even believable. Because you remember she testified that his pants were torn. He was walking in a building with cameras and everything. He's going to have a gun on him. So he said that was probably concocted by Capricorn because she had to justify her previous behavior. I said, wow, I didn't even think about that. So she lied about the gun to justify her earlier behavior. I said, wow, Mr. Agnifio, you just brought something out that we didn't even think about.
Bryn needs me to get.
Hold on, guys. Then it goes to Mia. He goes to Mia. He said Mia was expressing love and admiration for Mr. Combs. And I said this earlier. Well, all the text messages that she was sending to Puff, all the text messages she was sending to Puff, it was nothing but love and admiration from Mr. Combs. But then he brings a piece of demonstrative evidence, the binder, the very thick binder, a very thick binder. What he does is, in front of the jurors, he opens the binder and starts showing the jurors all the pages in the, well, not all of it, it was a thick binder. It was like, he showed them about maybe 10, 15, 20 pages. Page by page by page by page. Would someone who has argued, has sexually assaulted you, send that type of binder? Would someone send that to the person, their the abuser, someone who committed such heinous acts against you? No, that's not someone that would do that. That's someone who have love and admiration for the person they sending that to. So I thought that was a good point he brought out.
Team no sleep, baby. Team no sleep. It's gonna be a
Oh, it gets messy here. It gets messy here, ladies and gentlemen. When I say messy, he bringing in all the tea. I don't really like saying tea, but he brought the tea. So he says, Mia expressed love and admiration. There was never one unwanted sexual act between Mia and Mr. Combs. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cassie's best friend. This is Cassie's best friend. So he alludes to the fact that there was no unwanted sex between the two. So Puff obviously was smashing Mia, Cassie's best friend. And he points out that to prove that to be the case, it was an instance where those two were going back and forth, and Puff told her that he's going to expose their situation to Cassie. He tells her this. So why would you have to expose something? Like she had the opportunity to say, Cassie, this guy, sexually assaulted me. She could have told him at any time. She told anybody. She told nobody that. But Puff threatened her that he was going to tell Cassie that he was basically smashing it. And for those who understand, smashing means getting busy.
Pain, shame, everything. You understand? So you gotta give all props.
like the post office.
And then he says, Puffy makes people's world. And we know that to be the case because when Brendan Paul came in, he talked about the opportunities Puffy gave him. It was not just Brendan Paul, it was his assistants. Everyone praised Mr. Combs and what all the great things he's done for them. He was the nicest person. Tell me how many billionaires, think about this for a second. How many billionaires at Mr. Combs' level that are nice guys? Just think about that. Usually nice guys finish last. So when he said that, I said, wow, that makes sense. When you're at that level, you're not going to be nice. He can't wear kid gloves in business and want people to respect him. So I get that part. So I talked about where he said Cassie's not clutching his pearls.
All right.
He says, Mr. Lifford says, oh man, this gets beautiful. He says, Cassie is a sexy woman and she was dealing with Mr. Combs and Kid Cudi. And she was ready to go. He said Cassie was ready to go. She was ready to go with Puffy. She was ready to go with Kid Cudi. She was ready to go. She was on go time. She had a phone she had a dummy phone or a burner phone in a room by itself. I need to book a room for my phone, and I need to book a room for my freak offs. Puff didn't have access to the room with the burner phone. He had access to the room with the freak off. So I'm not saying that you bounce one room to the other one and talk to whoever she was talking to, but he made a good point to show that Cassie doesn't have clean hands. They were down for the get down. And I thought that was interesting. Okay, hold on. Here we go. I'm just kind of going over the highlights. So here we go. We're talking about Jane Doe now. We're talking about Jane Doe. She said Jane Doe was mad at Combs because of Young Miami. He didn't want Young Miami to get on a bigger yacht than she was on. He didn't want Young Miami to get a nicer bag. Puff was hitting up with the Chanel. Well, Jane Doe wasn't getting the Chanel. She was getting nice stuff, but Puff had stepped it up with Young Miami. And Jane Doe was upset about that. I said, yeah, that resonates. It's jealousy. He talks about how it was jealousy. This is about women who are jealous that Puff was out there. Puff was smashing, and everyone wanted Puff in his circle to claim. These women wanted to be claimed. And going back to Cassie, Agnifia pointed out that after Kim Porter's death, she realized that Puff really wasn't, his love was with Kim Porter. So she went out and married Mr. Alex Fine. And we ain't gonna talk about Alex Fine right now because Mr. Fine, you and I gotta talk. You and I gotta talk. Eventually. So these are some of the highlights that occurred this morning, and they're still at it. And then the prosecution will do her I won't say redirect, but response to the closing. Ladies and gentlemen, please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear the sound of my voice. How many we have in there? Oh, okay, we hitting it. Yeah, make sure you're hitting the like buttons. Yeah, tap it up. Tap it up. Stand by. So one of the last things the judge said before lunch was, Mr. Agnifio, how much time more do you have for your closing? I'm like, Judge, the prosecution, now this is me, the prosecution took almost 5 hours. Why are you rushing this man? This man's 3 hours in. Let him cook. Let him cook. He's cooking. Don't rush the man. He's cooking. Let him cook. He's going to land the plane when it's time to land the plane. Right now, he is gliding through the sky. He's gliding through the sky. Don't rush the man, because you wasn't rushing her. And Judge, I get what you're doing. I get what you're doing. You're giving the prosecution a little bit, but I didn't agree with giving the curative instruction during this man's closing. He could have gave the curative instruction after the man's closed. He finished his closing, but he decided to give the curative instruction in the middle of this man's closing. And I think the prosecution, just my opinion, that they only did that to throw Mr. Agnifio off his A game. But he said, no. We see the game. Well, hold on. It gets really good. So Ms. Shapiro says, when the prosecutor called me to ask the judge to give a curative instruction, Ms. Shapiro, I'm gonna tell you, she is fire with her arguments. And she's gearing up for, if there's a conviction, she's gearing up for appeal. She said, Your Honor, can I point out one thing to you? Yesterday when they did this, we never interrupted. Even though they lied during their closing argument by saying that there might have been guns in the room during the freak-off. Well, that was never the testimony. That never happened. No one testified that Puff had a gun in his room when he had a freak-off. It was never that was never part of any testimony, but Ms. Shapiro pointed that out to the judge, Your Honor. And then this is what the judge says. Check this out. Instead of the judge saying, you know something, you right, they did that BS. The judge said, well, you should have raised that yesterday. I mean, I'm saying it, they're not saying it. You got to take the kid gloves off. Don't play with them. Don't hold back, because they're not holding back. I saw the play. Throw him off the A game. I saw what was happening, but Mr. Agnifio said, no, we got this. We knew he was going to try that. We didn't want to go in on you, but now we got to go in. So then he started cooking again. I said, this guy must be a chef. At first, I was a little apprehensive. I said, maybe Mr. Agnifio should do the close. But I realized now he's keeping it. He has a style. Every attorney on the defense has a style. I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. He is earning his money today. The prosecutors were nervous. The prosecutor said, when I knew they were scared, I'm going to tell you something. One thing I tell you, I read body language. Miss Comey, she could have let that, first of all, she didn't even get what she wanted. She had a laundry list of curative instructions the judge, she wanted the judge to read to the jurors. The judge said, no. I'm going to give you a little bit, but you're trying to take a whole mile. I give you an inch, you're taking a mile. I want you to read all this to the front of the jurors. What do you think the impact would have had on the jurors had the judge read a laundry list of curative instructions? They would say, Mr. Agnifio don't know what the heck he's doing. Why does the judge interrupt? No one interrupted the prosecution during their close, so why are you going to do this right now? Why would you do this right now? And that may be an issue on appeal if he's convicted of anything. Why would you interrupt? And the judge said, well, they should have mentioned it yesterday. But Judge, you could have also stepped in when you know that was in the testimony. No one testified that Puff had any weapons during a freak-off. So why would you imply that? What we heard in the R. Kelly case, there was a gun on the table when the woman, I won't put her name out there, that testified, something happened in New York. there was a gun in the room. So they trying something from the playbook of the R. Kelly case, but it was no testimony there. Why would they do that? Why would they do that? Why wouldn't you chastise the prosecution for saying something that was so outlandish? That was outlandish. Mr. Niffius simply said, assault, that was he assaulted Cassie, and that would likely been treated as a misdemeanor. Okay, the judge, at the end of the day, usually judges tell them, well, what the lawyers say, it's not evidence. I will read the law. They're going to present the summa case. I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Judge, I know, I checked your resume. You got an impressive resume. You clerked for Judge Ruth Ginsburg. I checked your resume. You're looking pretty good out there. You haven't had any judgeships, but this is your first judgeship. I get it. I get it. But the world is watching. This is a big case, sir. This is a big case. This is a big case, sir. But we ain't gonna, let you do what you do. We'll talk about it afterwards.
Stop. Let me out. I gotta go back to the trial. Yeah, I know I have.
Oh my, listen. Don't compare Puffy to Nature Boy. Don't do that. Don't compare Puffy to Nature Boy. It's nothing like that. Stop it. I sat in that trial. Trust me. Puffy's not Nature Boy. Nothing like that. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I may have a few more points I want to make. Listen, guys. I have my colleague right behind me. She's cooking over there. Hold on.
Hold on. No, I'm not.
She's cooking over there.
I'm just a girl with content, delivering it to you.
That's Miss Knockout, ladies and gentlemen. That's Miss Knockout. She's on my, there she goes. Say hello.
Hey, what's up, now? Were you on the clock?
I'm on the clock. I'm on the clock.
On 10 to the clock?
No, I'm on YouTube.
Oh, YouTube.
Yeah.
Everybody, thank you, Toya. Everybody do what Toya's doing. Everybody do what JC's doing. Everybody do what Luna Bell's doing. It's Friday. Let's make this Friday great. Great vibes. Get ready. It's gonna be.
All right, guys. I see you trolls in there. I know the prosecutor send you over here. Go troll him. I know you're probably sitting in your nice little air-conditioned office trolling. You're on your little phones trolling me. Because we can't bring our phones in there. We can troll back if we was inside. I'm just going to have to troll outside. I know the prosecutors are in there trolling on my account. Guys, I got to call Attorney Shabazz right now. That's my sister. I'm just, this is pretty heavy. It's pretty heavy, guys. I appreciate you coming in. But I got to give her a call. I just learned this.
Oh, you're from Queens? Oh my God. You're from Queens. And you might want to be out.
All right, guys. I got to make that phone call and I got to get back inside the courtroom. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Make sure you tap that notification. So because we're here for Verdict Watch. Verdict Watch will start today. I'm going back inside the building. They have a system set up so when the verdict comes in, we can let you guys know whatever that is. So make sure you locked in. I will be going back live. Can't go live out. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to debate, should I be in the courtroom when it happens? I have to plan that out. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you on my next live.